to Retrograde. This is episode number 58, and today we're going to be discussing worms. My name is Jack Marshall. I'm joined today by Anthony Hobday.
Hello.
Lizanne Fisher.
Hi.
And James McFadden.
All right.
Also joining us today, we've got Neil Skinner.
Hi.
And Laura Jill.
Hello.
Yay! Bumper size.
Woo!
Fun pack size.
This is the mega pack.
And now we, so this is, so Laura's not been on this show before, so this is where we do 20 minutes of banter, normally.
Banter.
Give or take.
We haven't had...
Hang on. Why are you explaining the show to her? Laura has obviously listened to all 57 previous
have you, Laura?
episodes.
I've never listened to a single episode.
Join the club. Which is the rest of the world.
Now you say this is some kind of podcast?
Do you know what we do here? Oh,
we start off with bants.
Who's got anything they want to share? Anyone interesting?
I do.
Oh, who wants to go
Even though
first?
Sam put her hand up first, I think it might be the same thing. No, probably not.
It won't be the same thing.
Alright. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy last night.
Oh, I've seen that too.
It was brilliant. I really liked it.
I agree.
It's an action film, right? And I usually hate action films, but it was so well written. Chris Pratt is so funny.
I know.
Amazing. And the little raccoon guy.
You not watch Parks and Rec then?
I stopped after the first series. Apparently, it gets a lot better.
First series was rubbish.
Yeah.
Started the second, if anything.
Okay, I'll get back into it at some point, especially after this. But that film was so good.
Yeah.
I also really liked the Tree Man. I thought he was very nice.
Groot. Played by Vin Diesel.
I'm Groot. Yeah.
Up for an Oscar, apparently. That's what I hear.
Well, it's certainly his best performance today. Yeah.
I can tell how much you enjoyed it when you called them the little raccoon guy and the tree man.
What's his name? Little Rocket Raccoon.
It's James. He doesn't use real names.
And
That rhymed.
Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
it is,
Bradley Cooper. It doesn't sound like him though. He does a
No.
really different voice.
Yeah.
Also, it was cool that Karen Gillan played a bald space robot.
She shaved her head proper for it as well. She
that's
didn't just
cool.
put on a bald cap. She
Why
proper shaved her
should
head.
I know that name?
She was
Doctor Who.
Amy
Doctor
Pond.
Who.
Oh, I don't know Doctor
She
Who.
was the ginger assistant.
The Scottish one.
I don't watch
She was
Doctor
in a
Who.
touch of cloth.
I think
Free,
Doctor
which was
Who's
on the other day.
pretty... We do a podcast on the Psycho Network of Doctor Who, but I don't like Doctor Who. I think it's terrible to show.
It is
Yeah.
pretty bad these days.
It's one of the
actually,
worst
yeah.
things. I think it's one of the worst things that Britain have
It was
done
good. It was
output.
good for a while.
David Tennant was brilliant.
I'd say the first
and I
series
didn't
or
like
two
it.
of David Tennant was good. Christopher Eccleston was good, but the later Tennants and Matt Smiths were pretty.
Matt Smith was
cringe.
awful.
And now it's the dude from, what is it? Cutting
From
It,
The
or what
Thick
is
of
called?
It.
Thick of It, that's it, not Cutting
Peter
It.
Capaldi is going to
Yeah.
be amazing. I'm really
Oh
looking
god, no,
forward to
Peter
that.
Capaldi
I thought
is
James-
incredible, but I don't know what he's going to be like as Doctor Who.
I thought James didn't do names, he just spat out at least two.
He knows those are real names,
Had an
character
aneurysm, Neil.
names.
My entire personality has completely changed briefly.
So, going by female bald space robots, is she like the best one? Or what about the Borg from Star Trek First
She's certainly the
Contact?
most recent one that I've
Yeah.
seen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go for it.
Mine's not related to this at all, so you
No,
can...
no, go for it. No,
I
continue.
was watching a program like about Green Beret people training. It's on Channel 4. I don't know why I've been watching so much
It's the
trashy.
Commando thing. Neil and
Yeah.
I watched that. It's really good.
And there was one Maltese guy called Borg. His surname was Borg. I like that he got thrown out because he ate too many jelly babies.
Yeah, that was
Didn't
hilarious.
he
show
actually
is
put
this?
on weight?
It's
Yeah, he put on weight during basic training.
yeah, he put on weight. It's Marine Commandos
Oh.
training or something. It's on a Monday night on Channel 4. It's brilliant.
Speaking of terrible British television, I really annoyed my housemate because we were watching the Great British Bake Off.
Oh, yeah,
and they were
obviously.
making a sponge. And I was like, and there was a woman who was like, oh no, I've cocked out my sponge. And I would just laugh my arse off. Because
Okay, well, she never would have said that because it's the BBC. You can't say
She went,
C-O-C-K.
oh no, oh my fanny. I was like,
What?
Excuse me?
Sorry, is that what you bake it in?
but anyway, she's now got annoyed because I was saying how easy it is to cook sponge, and now she's challenged me to a bake-off.
Brilliant.
And
Too
obviously,
right.
if you guys want to get involved in this bake-off, I might get this table,
Jack,
put it
you've
out there in the
Is
sun.
it going to be
You take your
televised?
bed.
It's not going to be televised.
Jack,
but
you've seen the cakes I make. I would wipe the floor with you. Neil has made some amazing cakes in his time
I'm
as
not
well.
trying to say that
I'm a
we can't make
packet.
amazing cakes. I'm just saying I got annoyed when I was watching. I think the Great British Bake Off is just ridiculously stupid.
It's sublime.
great.
It's
I
possibly
love
the
it.
best art
It's
that
just
Britain
these
has come out
people
with.
going. I watched it the other day, and they had to make gingerbread.
Yes, but have you seen
It's
Like,
hard.
Have you seen the
Yeah, the
last
3D
bit?
scenes. It didn't have to
Yeah.
be gingerbread.
It's not hard. Baking
Yes,
is not
it is.
hard.
Did you
Yes,
see
come
they
on, man.
actually
So easy.
slotted together bits of biscuit to make it 3D?
It was like a
Did you see
jigsaw
that?
puzzle.
It was amazing.
It was
so
incredible.
easy. Just follow the instructions and put it in an oven.
Can we please acknowledge that weird otaku kawaii guy who's like this?
Yeah.
This
Oh god.
He's ruining geeks
Japanophile.
for everyone.
Yeah, he's not that
Everyone
approachable.
thinks that's what we're like.
I know.
I
He
love
looks
to-
like. Do you remember? Did you watch First Dates?
Yes.
Do you remember that guy that he was really into World of
With
Warcraft?
the ponytail
Yeah,
and
it
the bald
looks like
spot.
him.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
He loved Dragon Force as well.
He did love Dragon
That's
Ball.
not a good
Annoyingly,
combo.
he loved all the music I like. Which is,
Everything in a
It
one.
was you! No,
Yes,
it
it
wasn't.
was.
Anthony looks like he's stroking his head in pain right now.
That's because he's.
Why is wrong?
That's because he's so upset you don't like Bake Off.
No, you're worried that we've gone off on a tangent.
Anthony can't deal with banter.
Oh no, I don't watch any British TV
Must
hardly
you
so.
keep calling it banter?
Banter,
That's what it
bants.
is.
Isn't
Come on, Laura.
Banter.
Right now we're engaging in some sweet bants.
See,
Yeah, no,
we've
this is
been-
the
we've
banter
been-
section.
We've been
Bants.
calling it Bants for over 2 years now, Laura. It's a bit late to come in and change
We
it.
get a lot of American listeners just to hear us say things like "in it" and "bants"
In
and
it,
"Great
bro.
British Bake Off." So people in America are thinking they actually have a TV show called The Great British Bake Off. It's like, yes, we do. It's literally a bunch of people in the kitchen cooking cakes,
There is
going,
the Great
"Oh, my
Ameri-
cake's falling over again."
Yeah, they've got
They've got
the
an
Great
American
American
one.
Bake Off.
Oh, really?
Paul
Yeah.
Hollywood's still in it because he keeps
That doesn't make any sense.
shagging everyone who he works with.
Allegedly.
Another British,
Lawyers.
Another British
Wait,
word.
I swear he
shaggy.
only works with Mary Berry.
No, in America he has a young, hot female presenter,
Oh, okay.
and apparently
Mary
he's
Berry.
been porking her with his pie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Next
with
week.
No, her pie.
He's got-
Damn it, I did it wrong.
He's been porking her with her pie.
I did it wrong.
Good God,
wrong.
this man needs to go to jail.
It's
Putting a sausage in a roll? How's that? That's
Oh,
a good
okay.
one.
Getting
He's
his
got a
baguette
joke lined
out,
up.
yeah.
No. Next week I'm going to video game karaoke in
Oh,
London.
sorry, so we're skipping my banter that I put my hand up for.
I thought you'd already done yours
No.
with the 5 minutes of British
game
Bake Off. Is that?
You do yours, go on.
How many songs can you sing? Video games.
No, they've taken.
Pokemon theme tune as well. We've done
Yeah,
that
that's
karaoke
true.
before.
They've taken songs that everyone knows and then rewritten all the lyrics, and then put those lyrics into the karaoke machine. So you're singing songs like Frank Sinatra or whatever, but it's about a specific game.
That's the worst. When you say video game karaoke, that is the
Yeah.
worst possible outcome.
Yeah,
It should be video game songs with real song lyrics. That would be amazing.
I feel like maybe you should try it and then see.
I
Well,
prefer to
Jack-
judge things
Prejudge
before I
it.
try them.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Well, no,
prejudge it.
Jack made up his own Sonic the Hedgehog song to the Sonic the Hedgehog theme.
Sonic
He'd
the
sit there.
Hedgehog, Sonic the
No, you'd be going Sonic the Hedgehog to
Yeah.
the tune of Sonic the Hedgehog, wouldn't you?
Sonic. I do that for loads of things though. Like Mario's just like
Mario the Hedgehog.
Mario. It's really I can do it with any piece of music to be honest.
See? That's video game
Zelda
karaoke.
the Hedgehog. Zelda the Hedgehog.
Well, I've got one for James. I've got one for Chopin. Chopin.
That is wrong on so many levels.
Chopin.
Oh,
I think that was
wow.
Beethoven know what you're doing though.
I think that's the point.
Oh, I missed the joke.
Oh no.
Oh, whoosh, that went over my head. That one.
Straight
The only
ahead.
other song
Can
you
I
can
d-
sing is the Cannon Fodder theme song. Do you remember that?
No.
War has
Oh.
never been so much fun.
Oh no, that's the Worms theme tune I was about to sing.
No. Go on
No, I
YouTube
do.
and listen to the
Worms.
Amiga version of
Worms,
Cannon
the
Fodder.
I kind of want to hear what kind of song names would have pun video game names in. So like if you're going to do like Frank Sinatra's "Come Fly With Me," but it's going to be what come like I don't know.
Halo.
Die with
Yeah,
me.
Die With Me. Or something. I'm just trying to think of what songs could be pun.
No,
video
yeah,
game
the
names.
Halo one is the most popular one. It's Halo. Is it me you're looking for?
Beyonce's. Oh, obviously Beyonce's "Halo."
Yeah, that would make
No,
most
no,
sense.
they rewrite it.
Oh,
They rewrite the entire song.
Just Halo, Halo,
Exactly. That's why they have
and then
not
just
chosen
should have
that.
put a ring on it as a backup.
No,
That's the Sonic one.
Sonic.
That'd be a Sonic, yeah. If you like it, then you should.
You
have
mean
put a ring on it.
should have put a ring into outer space and then used it to kill an entire race of sentient parasites? Because it's their Halo
Yeah.
Oh,
plot.
I get
Plot of
it.
Halo.
Gotcha.
Should have put a ring on it.
Spoiler
Doesn't
alert.
scan.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't know that's what the Halo ring did. Spoiler alert.
Let's check the
That's right.
scan meter. It scans.
Lizanne, what's your banter?
So Neil and I have been on holiday with my parents for the past week in Devon. And Wednesday morning, my sister arranged for us and her and her husband and my dad to go fishing in the actual sea. We went.
None
we
of
went-
these fancy.
Not in a river,
full
is what I
seas
meant.
I'm
Not
hearing
freshwater
about.
fishing.
Not the fake sea.
Not freshwater fishing, sitting on a riverbank
AstroTurf
eating
Sea
pies.
on the continent.
No, what we did is we sat in the frozen section of Tesco. We just kept casting our rods in at the
Yeah.
frozen cod.
Yeah.
Bucket.
Yeah.
And so it's 3 hours on an. It was just a dinghy. It wasn't even a boat. It had a little motor on the back. That was it. It was
Aw.
just a little dinghy. There was 9 of us on there. It was very close.
Blimey.
But kept us warm. And we spent 3 hours fishing, which was really
Catch
good.
anything?
Oh yes,
Did you
I'm
not
glad
see
you
the
asked,
picture?
Jack.
I caught
He
crabs.
hasn't seen the picture. Neil caught crabs off my sister. Funnily enough, they crossed the streams. They crossed their rods.
Her sister's
Right.
line had
You
a crab
see.
nibbling the bait, and
You
I
never
pulled
crossed the
mine out,
streams.
hooked her line, and the crab jumped to my line.
And Neil proudly exclaimed in front of my
It is
father, "Lizanne, I've caught crabs off your sister." So yeah, that was funny. Thankfully, everyone laughed, including
Oh,
her
went
husband,
down
who was
well.
there as well. But yeah, no, I caught the only fish that we were allowed to keep.
Oh,
Because the fish have to be a certain size
Oh,
for you to be able to keep them, because
36
otherwise it means they're
centimetres.
too young. and
Goddamn
stuff like
ocean
that.
fishing Nazis.
So literally, this guy, he just had this block of wood that was just over a foot long and really thick.
Oh,
And
nice.
I wouldn't have
he
need- I
used
wouldn't have
it
needed that block
in a
of wood.
double use. So you pull the fish out, obviously, you hook it in, and then he measures it against the post. And if it's longer than the post, he then uses it to bash their skull in to kill the fish.
That's right.
So you can then keep it.
Like in the in-betweeners.
Yeah.
Just like an in-betweeners, yeah.
I just-
And
no.
I was the only one out of 9 people at 3 hours
Oh,
fishing
well
to
done.
catch a fish we could
Did
keep.
you eat it?
Yes,
What was it?
thankfully
Was it
my
like
sister.
a trout?
There was the sea bass.
Oh, sea bass. Sorry.
Thankfully, my sister's husband is a chef for Loch Fyne, which is a fish chain. And so he then showed us how to gut and fillet the fish.
I could have done that for you.
And then cook it and everything. Oh yeah, because you're a butcher.
I was a butcher.
The funny thing is, I cut the stomach open of the fish for the lols, and it eaten 5 crabs.
Whoa.
There's
Yeah,
5
5
crabs in the
crabs.
stomach.
In
It's
the
like an
belly.
aquatic Kinder egg.
That's been a big.
An aquatic, gruesome, smelly Kinder egg.
What
Yeah,
was it, 2.5 pound?
2.3 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really, really tasty. So that was the big exciting thing that happened. We also went
Awesome.
horse riding to some other stuff, but that was the most exciting.
I can imagine you finding out, the guy announces that it's big enough that you can keep it, and everyone turns around to congratulate you, and you're running off into the distance, gnawing on the fish already. He's like, no, it's mine!
How am I running? I'm not Jesus. I can't run on water.
What, is he measuring it in the boat?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd get it back to base, and then
Well, no, because
go,
the
out,
ones-
go out and chuck them back.
The ones
Back to the
that
fish
aren't
base.
big enough have to go straight back in. You know, fish can't
I don't
breathe
know how.
oxygen.
Yeah. Do you not know how fish work?
Not really, I'm a human being. They're a
Bring it
bit
on land,
different.
Anyway,
throw it
anyway.
back. Just doesn't even throw it
The
back into the
great
water, just to
thing-
the land.
You catch it, you take it back to land, and if it's too light, you post it back to the ocean.
Yeah, to the ocean, and you put the postage in.
Do fish?
It's like
do you
a
reckon the
pound.
fish remember it though? Do you reckon they're a bit traumatised after they get put back in?
No, they're all right.
They're like,
No, they're
there's
fine.
also all these fish just swimming around going, "What happened to you? I was abducted."
No, they're all right.
I
They're
think it
fine.
depends how long they're out of water. Isn't
I
it?
was abducted. That's a very verbose fish.
Yeah.
There's a tasty lugworm, and then all of a sudden, sunlight.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's these people with a big block of wood next to me, about a foot long.
Don't smile because you say a foot-long piece of wood, Jack. That's a very stupid joke to find funny.
Means you can keep it, though.
But yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
bigger than the fisherman's friend, it's good for your dinner.
Yeah. Who else got something you want to share? Or do you want to go straight into the competition, or does anyone else have anything?
Laura,
they
do you have
wanna do?
banter?
I don't have any.
What have you been up to?
You
the
could
last
make
couple
up
of
an
weeks?
extravagant lie.
How's your running going?
I stopped.
Okay, fair
Clearly,
enough.
she's
'cause I-
sitting here.
You've got to stop at some point, and realise
Yeah, I hurt my Achilles tendon, as you know. And
Yeah.
then I've been up at my mum's the last couple of weeks in the middle of nowhere in Surrey, so there's nowhere to run.
Nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to run.
Surrey's famous for not having running routes.
Surrey's famous for
it's
being
just-
unescapable.
It's just just a tiny little island. Just you and your mum standing on it like this, going, there's nowhere to go.
Why is it called Surrey?
Should we do the competition?
Yeah, let's do the competition.
Have you not
I
got any
don't-
bants?
No, what have I been up to?
You went speed dating.
Speed
We
dating.
went speed dating.
Oh
That's
yeah,
good
how was
fun.
that?
Yeah, it was a group of us went. It wasn't just me on my own. Just made that clear. straight
Well, no,
away.
speed dating is pretty rubbish if it's just you.
Not obviously. Well, I don't know. Just, I'd have a great date myself. Night in, candlelit dinner.
The speed part would be taken care of. No, I mean, because you can't spend any time talking to your set. Well, you can, probably.
Someone did once say to me, "What's the opposite of speed dating?" I was like, "Well, normal dating, which is just slow dating."
I call it slow dating so that people know which I'm talking about.
It's a speed.
Does
dating.
anybody else hear an
Music concert.
accordion?
Yeah, there's a.
That's
There's
not
music
just
from
me.
outside.
It's
There's
happening
a
again.
party outside.
Apology to our listeners, it's still really hot at the moment, and I've got the window open, and there's like literally a party going on. Nah, leave the window open, we're alright. And there's like a party going on, people are having a little celebration on the grass.
Is
opposite
this
us.
those hula hoop mother?
No. Those guys are only on Tuesdays. Today's Saturday.
Hey, they
Is
might
this,
be
this is
listening.
the okay? So there are accordion guys, hula hoop guys. Is there a different
Well,
theme
Brighton
each,
is
each
pretty
day?
liberal. I mean, we get everything out there on that little grass.
Hula hoops, accordions.
Little wooden horsey guys,
Yeah.
80s boombox guys.
Construction site workers as well
Oh.
coming out doing stuff. These guys like to come out and cut the grass every so often. They're the worst ones. They're mental.
It's a fad. It's a fad.
It's a fad. They'll get over it. Let's go straight into the competition then. Dun, dun, dun. Paul Monahan giveaway. Anthony,
The
do it.
Paul Monahan giveaway. Last time we were giving away Symphony, Retrograde, Sequence, and Beat Buddy Tale of the Guardians, which I did manage to fit into the tweet, which I was pretty pleased with.
Someone even tweeted us to say they were impressed. You
Ganon
fit it all
Tech, yeah.
in.
What was the theme? Was there a theme?
Get them all in the tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, the tweet was... Yeah, the theme was, I don't know
Games
how I'm
you-
going to fit all these into the... No,
Wasn't it games you've already given away?
No, it was also music, but it was mainly games I don't know how I'll fit into the tweet. But the winner is... Ash Davies. So we're going to contact you on Twitter, Ash Davies.
Nice.
And send you the codes for those. The next set of games we're giving away are Tokitori 2, Broken Sword 2, V, not 2, just 1, and Lone Survivor. Can any of you guess the theme for this one?
It's also hard to fit in a tweet.
I don't know.
It is, yeah, it's still 4 titles, but there's a theme for this one as well. Can any of you guess?
No.
Okay, it's
Games.
first 4 titles in list of prizes. So,
Remind me, what is Lone Survivor? That
I
seems
have
very
no
familiar.
idea. It's in the list of prizes.
Lone Survivor. Is that about like truck stops or something that we?
Wait, isn't Lone Survivor the Clay, the Clay game? It's like KLEI, they're the developers.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's the one that's kind of like dark and you're on an island trying to survive.
Oh, okay.
But if not, then it's going to be something completely different, and hope
it's
you
a
enjoy
surprise,
it,
yeah.
future winner. So if you want to win that, I'll be putting the competition details on Twitter. Just retweet those, and you'll be in it to win it.
What's our Twitter handle name?
At Retrograde Show.
Is that all one word?
It is, yeah. I don't think they allow spaces.
That's great. Yeah. So make sure you retweet that tweet, and you might be in. You've got to be in it to win it, as always. You
Yep.
cannot be out of it to win it.
No, you have to be in it to win it.
That's how what we say.
If you're
here.
out, you pout. If you're in, you win.
That's
Maybe.
it. Oh,
You may win. You may win. We don't want to promise anything.
They said, did you see on Reddit? 37% of games bought on Steam and never played.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's crazy.
I'm
Makes a lot
surprised
of
it's not
sense.
higher.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mine is about 90% on my Steam
Yeah, but
list.
that's
Mine
because you
too.
don't like playing games.
And I love buying them.
Yeah.
And leaving them in the wrapper.
You can't sell them because they're not
Jax.
wrapped on Steam.
We were in HMV today, our local video game shop, music shop.
Soon to be defunct.
Soon to be defunct. And
Soon to be.
I was buying a book.
Already defunct.
I was buying a book, and it was Resident
You
Evil
bought a
6.
book in a video game shop.
HMV. HMV is
HMV,
a music
hey.
shop.
Jack thinks HMV
Hey,
is
hold
the
on.
library.
Little tip for the listeners: if you ever want to just buy a book, don't ever buy it on Waterstone's Amazon. Go to HMV first and check it's not in there. Because honestly, they done the whole of the Hunger Games, all 3 books for like £5. It's a bargain as far as I'm
That's why they're
concerned.
going out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one buys books anymore either.
Yeah.
I buy books.
Sorry, all right, blimey,
Well,
God, dear.
everyone's
You
got
buy
Kindles.
books, Jack
Yeah.
buys books.
We all buy books.
Just you
Everyone loves books.
Yeah,
books,
I
books,
like
books.
Kindle
books. Books.
Anyway,
trade.
I was going to buy it, and at the till there was an offer of you can get Resident Evil 6 brand new for £5 if you buy anything in store.
Who in God's name would
And-
want to buy Resident Evil 6?
I asked Anthony, and he looked at me like you just looked at me, and I was like, "That's a good deal."
No, it's not. That you should have.
I
to-
was
you
almost
should-
going to buy it and just keep it in the wrapper. In
I
case
would
my kids
not.
need
I would not
college
play that
funds.
game unless you paid me. Are you kidding? Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, but in about 20 years' time, they'll go, "Oh man, Resident Evil 6. What are we on now? 28? Wow, 6."
Wow, who cares?
It'll be like now. That's what I call music collections. You have
These
now, that's
terrible
what I call
graphics.
Resident Evil 6. Anyway, yes, we're going to be playing. We're talking about Worms this week. So before we do, let's have a brief blurb on the game from our new guest, Laura Gill.
Worms is an artillery strategy video game developed by Team 17 and released in 1995. It is the first game in the Worms series of video games and was initially only available for the Amiga. Later it was ported to other platforms. Worms is a turn-based game where a player controls a team of worms against other teams of worms that are controlled by a computer or human opponent. The aim is to use various weapons to kill the worms on the other team and have the last surviving worms.
Thanks for that, Laura. And if you've got a blog, podcast, website, or anything you want to promote, make sure you get in touch with us on Twitter, and you can be a guest voiceover for our show.
Does Laura want to promote anything?
Laura, you got anything you want to sell?
Nope.
Sure.
Continue. Yeah.
You could sell your Nexus 4 so you can buy a Nexus 5.
Oh, I do want to get a Nexus 5 because my Nexus 4 is broken, but I will accept any money for it. Any money.
Yeah, so
There we
get in
go.
touch. Get in touch on Twitter. We'll forward you details on. You can buy a crappy Nexus 4.
Start bidding at £10.
We had our last show, Laura, since you listened to it, or whatever, but we had a guy trying to sell his fridge. I don't know if he sold it yet, but he was selling
Of course
the
he
fridge.
sold it, Jack. It's a fridge.
good point from James.
I don't know why he's trying to sell it. I mean, people just will buy it.
Doesn't want it anymore.
No, I mean, it's like it's so popular, fridges, they just go, didn't they?
Everybody needs a fridge.
The people just leave them in their front gardens. Yeah, but I'll tell you what else you could buy. If you want to get some new headphones, head over to our sponsors this week, to tweetaudio.com. They've got all these loads of lovely headphones, all shapes and sizes, and if you use the promo code Retrograde when purchasing, you'll get 33% off. Free shipping and lifetime warranty on your headphones. So yeah, check out tweetaudio.com.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Worms.
Worms!
We all love worms. We've all got worms.
Wait, no.
No.
all get our worms.
On our computers.
And you chose worms. Why
Yes.
did you choose worms?
Because continuing my PS1 theme, because all the games I've picked have been from the PS1 that my dad got us. Worms was also in that bundle, so we're on to Worms.
How many more games are in this bundle, by the way?
That's pretty much it.
Do you think there's a chance that any of the games in that bundle you would never have liked if you played of your own volition, but because they were there and you had to play them, it was like Stockholm Syndrome?
Well,
Because you don't like guns, classically, so does
No.
Worms... Do you think you had to like it because you owned it? And you...
no, but I also quite like strategy games. With Worms, there is that element of strategy, and it's breeding familiarity, and the comedy element made it a lot more fun.
Wait,
Call
the
of Duty.
voices.
Did you just say you like strategy games?
Yeah.
What kind of strategy? Because I swear,
Pokemon.
we played Warcraft 3 and Starcraft a little while
That's
ago. on this
real-time
show.
strategy.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I like time
fake time
management, like
strategy?
Dynadash and stuff.
Worms,
Oh, okay.
Worms is not fake time strategy. Okay, this should be an Olympic sport.
This
by now.
Worms is turn-based, so
Yeah, but this is brilliant.
I think that's another reason I like it, is because it's turn-based.
You ever play Civilization?
No.
You might like that.
It's a bit...
It's
It's a bit in-depth, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it's mostly automated though, so you can
it's kind of
just sit
like
back and
it's kind of like when you're eating a potato and it's a bit too heavy. You're like, I don't want to keep eating this.
yeah, but
you
still
have
a
to keep
very
chewing it
simple potato.
because you're not going to spit out
Why
some
wouldn't
potato.
you finish the potato?
Potatoes are universal food.
They're amazing.
Okay, it's different food. There's some kind of food where you start eating it and you're like, I don't want to finish chewing this, but you have to do it because you're going to spit it out and the Queen's watching you because you're at
Jerky.
dinner.
Jerky.
Jerky? No, I always finish jerky.
I wouldn't spit
Not
out
too
food the
chewy.
Queen's given me.
I don't put any-
Jesus,
I don't-
Anthony,
I
what are you
don't
on
put
about?
What if she
Anything in
fed
my
you like
mouth.
deep fried rope?
Why would I put
Finish that
I'd
sentence.
eat it. She's
What?
the Queen.
Why would I put anything in my mouth that I'm not going to finish?
What if it's poison and it's mislabeled?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Exactly,
yeah.
so you're just proving yourself wrong.
Anyway,
But I don't do that. Oh, unless it's gone off. I've done that. I put milk in that's gone off.
If you eat a potato that's
milk in.
put milk in. You haven't accidentally drunk milk.
I'm gonna put this milk in my mouth right now.
I don't eat or drink things. I put them in my face.
milk is fine. Milk will just give you a stomach upset for a while. Potatoes will kill you, bro. Honestly, I read a story about a guy who was working at a place that shipped potatoes or something, and all potatoes have gone off. Like, where's the shipment of potatoes? We don't know. We need you to go and find it, Johnson. And so he goes and he finds it, and it's been there for like months and months. And he opens it and he dies because the fumes killed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so don't mess around with potatoes.
Is that a true story?
Yes.
I think I've got a potato in my cupboard. I've left.
Well,
it
be
It's
careful.
great.
Squidgy or green, they're not good to eat.
Oh, that's going to be a nice little rhyme.
Yeah,
I think it
Squidgy and
was-
green, not too keen.
There we go.
I think it was a true story, but James might have changed the names to protect the identities of those involved, because Johnson probably wasn't the guy's name.
His name was actually
Worms.
Jensen.
Yeah, we
Damn
should.
it.
Jensen.
Adam Jensen
Worms.
from Deus Ex.
Worms.
So what can you do with potatoes, guys? Worms are gonna-
You can make him into a battery to power a
So we had
web server.
I think that's a lemon. But anyway,
Oh, yeah, it was
You could do it with potatoes.
Well, that server probably is a lemon if it's running on
me,
potato power.
Laura, and Anthony had a game of Worms before you guys all arrived. Who won?
I think it was
You won the second game.
I think it was me that won that game. Yeah, because I'm pretty mean with a bazooka.
I don't think you used the bazooka
Stop
once.
looking at me.
The sheep was always my favourite weapon.
Sheep was good.
Loved
Don't-
the sheep.
This is where I get worried. The one thing we found playing this game now actually was how much stuff that we went. Wait, can you not do that in this game? And I can't remember if the sheep were
The
in
sheep
this.
wasn't
The sheep
Was
are
the
in
was
this.
the was
Are
the
they
holy
in
grenade in
Worms?
it?
No, the sheep
Yeah.
is in this, but it only comes down in a crate.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Because there was
right.
Worms.
So you have to get the crate
So-
with the sheep in to be able to use
I-
the sheep weapon.
I got off good old games. I got Worms United because that was the only one that was available, and that is, I think, Worms Reinforcements and Worms combined. So I
Yeah.
think it had, so it's quite confusing. Like I remember there was a banana bombs, but again, I don't know if that was
Yeah,
the
banana
original
bombs.
vanilla
Banana,
Worms.
banana bombs
bombs
were an
was.
upgrade that you could get in a crate.
And like the big
They
surprise,
upgraded your cluster.
all three of us though, and maybe we just didn't find out the key for this, is none of us could jump backwards. We couldn't.
You just turn
backflip.
round.
No, we couldn't backflip.
Oh no, you can't do that in this game.
Yeah,
Yes, you can.
they-
You double tap jump.
No, we
No,
tried it,
that's
didn't
what-
work.
No, you can't backflip
And
in
this,
Might
is
have been
where,
Worms
this
too.
is where I was getting really confused, thinking, did they bring that in with Worms 2? And like the rising water level as well.
Yeah, that was
So
I was
one
like,
there
is
for-
that Worms 2 as well? And it was,
Yeah, they weren't in
This was
the
the same
original.
with Tony Hawk's when we thought there was
Yeah.
a revert or whatever, and it wasn't in Tony Hawk's 2.
there was enough going on that I kind of went, I'm confused. Did that not happen in this one? But
This one has the kamikaze, right?
Yeah.
That was my favourite. I like doing that.
Wait, I don't
was
think we had a
brisk.
kamikaze in our game though.
yeah, it was just in
It was there, we just didn't use it.
I didn't see it in the. Oh, okay.
It was in the second menu.
Oh.
So we mentioned like strategy, and that music is really bloody loud, isn't it? You guys can't hear it. I've got the headphones on, and I can hear every like song I'm humming away over here. But anyway, we mentioned the strategy of the game. Is there quite a lot of strategy involved in this, or is it more luck?
Well, it's luck as to where your worms are placed in the first one. Like the video that we've got on here, those ones that are all on that bridge, as soon as I get my first turn, I'm air striking those. because they will all die.
You don't get the airstrike, do you? Until
Yeah,
a
you
couple
do.
of turns.
It takes 2 or 3 turns.
Do you do
to
airstrike
unlock.
straight away?
But again, that might
oh no,
be in
you
the
can
second
set
one.
it and then it comes on the second
Yeah.
turn. Yeah, but yeah.
I don't
It
think-
depends on where your worms first of all are, and obviously the terrains that are generated around them.
Yeah, you get some worms that just kind of live in a cave near the water that can't do anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what happened in our game with Laura. Her guy was literally underground in a little
was-
hole,
yeah.
and she didn't know what to do with it.
Then you like blowtorch your way out,
Well, yeah, you blow
Yeah, but
torch
then
your way
they-
through and then plant bombs underground.
That's what she did.
like Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
I don't think it's strategy so much as planning, which might sound similar, but it's not, because you have to aim each shot and hope it hits, so it's a lot more sort of luck of the draw.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, rather than strategy purely, because in a lot of strategy games, you know you're going to hit once you get there.
In fact, the wind changes every turn as well,
Yeah.
so you can't
Yeah.
just adjust your aim slightly. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's why it's so great.
It's kind of a
is 'cause things like
randomization
that change.
factor.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this, guys. Right now, listen. I'm not arguing against this game being a strategy game, but there have been a lot of trailers released, especially for like first-person shooters and stuff, and they're all like, "Hey, find a new strategy to do this," or like, "We've given you new options to do different strategies and stuff." What is the opposite of strategy when you're talking about a game like this? Reactions, pure
Arcade?
No,
Yeah, it must be things you can't plan ahead, right?
like reactionary.
Beat 'em
Yeah.
Sort of.
Like,
Why are we nowadays taking strategy to be an inherently positive thing? Like, we talk about this game being strategic. Why is that necessarily good?
I don't think we are saying that. I think we're saying
I think
that
even if we are, and a lot
it's a
of people
genre.
are, like especially advertisers, like strategy is one of the buzzwords
well,
that's thrown out.
I think what
there.
you're talking about there is having alternative choices. Because as first-person shooters, you have alternative routes you can take. You know,
But
where
then
you
it
have-
becomes a meaningless word, because if we take strategy to mean alternate choices,
No,
every
I-
game is a strategy game, right?
I think strategy is obviously tied to the idea of challenging your brain, and that's what we get enjoyment out of. That's why you play to challenge yourself. You don't play to become lucid. You play to challenge. So strategy
Yeah.
is like an extreme version of playing. You're challenging your brain, and strategy is great at doing that. And also, strategy's got that nice idea, because strategy for me comes up that you're using your brain power to solve a problem. You know, you're using the logic of the rules set by the game.
It's not mindless.
Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, this game is definitely not mindless, even though it's a lot of violence. It's more you're planning your moves.
It's comic violence.
Yeah, yeah.
It's cartoon violence.
Yeah, I'd let my kids
Yes,
play
these
this.
are exactly. We were playing it all the time. I was about 12 when we got this, and my brother was 7. And
Yeah,
him and
and
I
I-
would play
I-
this
yeah.
all the time. We loved it. It was so funny.
Yeah, and I used to go get the worms in the garden, and I would tie them to bungee ropes and throw them off, and then throw rocks at them and stuff like bazookas. Yeah, it's great.
You're weird.
I didn't really do that. I was waiting for you to go, oh my god.
What version of the game is this? Is it in Meek?
This is director's
we're
cut.
watching a video of Worms Director's Cut, which was the Andy Davidson, who originally came up with the concept of Worms. He made this on his own for the Amiga only, and he said this is the true pinnacle version of Worms. And he made it while the Worms 2 development was going on. So and it was only on the Amiga, and it had a bunch of weapons and could be like napalm strikes or something like that, I don't know, are in it. And it's the only one. It's the only reason we're watching it on this TV is because it's the only one that was a YouTube long play of. And again, Worms is it's hard. Like there was Worms Reinforcements, Worms United. It's like the Worms games of. I mean, we're going to have to touch on the fact that so it's Team 17, obviously a UK development team who I really love. They're doing a new game called Flockers, but it's quite sad that
You mean Lemmings?
Worms is a freaking amazing game.
It's brilliant.
But it has been a victim of kind of jumping the shark, I guess. They've done so many versions.
They're milking it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's milk in it, and then this isn't even milking anymore. This is just dragging it.
I never liked any of the subsequent versions. The original one is the only one I liked. I was really excited when they brought out 2 and 3.
Worms Armageddon was
But they were
very
awful.
popular.
Yeah, Worms Armageddon was a
I kept
pinnacle.
hearing that, and I played Armageddon, and I still didn't like it. I was just like, no, this is too cartoony now. There was something a bit more gritty about original Worms that had a funny element to it. Now they're just focusing on the funny, and it's too cartoony.
How big a development studio were they when they first made this game? Do we
Oh,
know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
I
I'm
read
guessing
it on
small.
Wikipedia earlier that he just did it by himself for a programming company.
Because this
Yes, he did, yeah.
this feels like a game a student made and then was polished
Yeah,
up later. And so it actually, Jack, you talk about liking them as a developer, but it actually really is quite a big mark against them that after this one kind of lucky instance, they weren't able to create a game that improved on it in any meaningful way for the next
They threw out a couple of games, Team 7, like World Rally Fever was one I could think of, did a racing game, and they did a few games here and there. They did a pinball one, I remember, that wasn't too bad.
But subsequent Worms games were never as good as this one.
I mean, I think they occasionally would try, like, Worms 3D. They took it into the 3D
That
for
was
the
bad.
Xbox. I didn't mind it.
I thought it was a bad game.
But you're right, they do kind of go back. They're even to the point where it's going to be in my trivia section. They're even going to do a karting game.
Oh,
like
Jesus
a racing
Christ.
game.
And it's not like...
But it got cancelled.
It's not like this game is unimprovable. It's not perfect enough that you wouldn't be able to make it better. It's just, I mean...
The direction they took it in was wrong.
Yeah, and it feels to me like the type of formula that someone came up with. It was compelling. It was really good. It was interesting. And then they just didn't know what to do with it.
I think it helps, though, that this game, I don't know if this is the right term, but it's very portable. I mean, you could even play this on iPad. I'm yet to see a device that they haven't... I think this has been on, like... I think even N-Gage had it on.
When
every console.
When I went on holiday with a friend, we played this on his Android phone.
Yeah.
And not this game, it was Armageddon, I think, or a version of it. And it was surprisingly enjoyable.
Well, because as well, it's... You pass controller around as well. It's one of those few games that you play multiplayer without...
Hot seat.
Without a main screen,
The fact that it was that slow-paced, turn-based, multiplayer game, I think really opened up the audience as well, because it's not very mechanically challenging, is it? You can take your time. I mean, there is a time limit usually when you're taking your turns, but you can take a moment. You don't have to immediately react. And the fact that you have to then look at the other player doing their turn gives you a little moment to plan, and you don't have to. You don't feel so harried.
On the flip side, though, there's certainly like an element of like, I hate the term, but like mastering the game. I imagine there are people who are very, very good at Worms.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There are videos of people ninja roping.
Yeah, and I think
in later Worms games.
Oh,
I think
God,
you
they're
could.
amazing.
I mean, I don't know if there's any Worms World tournaments.
Oh, there must be, or at least there used to be.
None that are publicised, but I mean, somebody's running that.
What I love most about Worms and the hot seat multiplayer is that it's a fun game to watch your friends playing. A lot of games, like, for example, when I had a Game Boy Advance, I love the fact that Advance Wars had hot seat multiplayer, so you play it on one copy of the game with a friend because you're taking turns. But watching the other person take their turn was boring as hell. Whereas in this, watching your friends play a turn and seeing how they do is fun because it's got this sort of competitive element where you're saying you're going to do terribly, and then they flunk it, and you're like, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, you're waiting for them to mess up, and I think the comic
or they do it amazingly, and you don't mind the fact they did it amazingly because it was such a good shot where they dropped a grenade down a hole perfectly.
Yeah.
That's impressive to watch. So it's really fun to be in the moment, without playing the game.
It's one of the worst games I've ever played, though, for AI. Because the enemy, computer AI, was just some of the later levels. Like,
Why didn't you put it on hard?
Oh, but they would fire
really
it
easy or ridiculous. They're so
I
accurate.
guess.
They're either super easy to the point where they'll just walk into the water, and you'd be like, that was easy. Or they're so hard that they'll lob a bazooka and it will just perfectly just go.
Yeah.
There was just no margin for error. It was just like, that's ridiculous.
I remember another one of my favourite moves.
What's that?
When someone's standing on the edge of a cliff and you hop over to them
Yeah.
and you just use the shove.
Little prod.
You just
that's a
push
good
them in
one.
the water.
My favourite was to
I
use
love that.
instead of using the obvious shove in that situation, I would use the kamikaze just to make sure. Just to make sure. It was a lot flashier.
Just to really
as well.
go for it.
Yeah.
Another thing about this game that I loved and still do is the computer's team names
Oh, yeah.
and the characters within it.
Clive.
Yeah.
Was
Take
Clive?
This,
Yeah.
which was obviously meant
That's
to be
good.
Take That. They had
the
the
team
ABBA
names.
rip-off, but who was there? What was the name?
I don't
of
know.
it?
We named our cast. We had.
Well, that was the other good thing, was being able to create
Yeah.
your own team and name your own team.
My team was Death, War, Pestilence, and Famine.
Yeah.
Nice.
You had what? The Hulk.
The Avengers.
Yeah, the Hulk.
I
Nice.
had all the single ladies. I couldn't think of one, and that's the first thing they thought of.
That's what I thought the first way. It's like, damn, why didn't I have all the single ladies? Could have had. Should have put a ring on it. No, that wouldn't have worked. Needed fifth.
No, Pudder, you could probably.
Pudder, yeah.
Pudder.
Shoulda,
Pudder.
Pudder, ringer.
Should have put
on
like.
a-
Should have
put a
pudding.
ringer on.
Pudding ring on it.
The Italian version.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I
that
love
was
that,
fun.
and that was it was a really nice moment when you could name your own worms, and I took great delight in like naming some of them after my brother and then killing them and laughing in his
Over
face.
and over and
Well,
over.
this is
Yeah,
one of the-
but
this is-
he got his own back. He would do the same to me. He would we'd have a 4-player match. Me and him as 2 human teams and then 2 AI teams, and he always choose Take This because he knew I loved Take That.
All right.
And then he would just focus on killing them
Yeah.
to upset me. Which
Years
works.
of therapy later, it's still not the
Torture.
same.
It must have been
It still
torture.
burns. It still hurts, Alex.
Worms-
You're listening to this at work right now, and you know what you did.
Do some work.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Worms is also for me very important to me because I got it when I was a kid. I was like 7 or 8 years old, and it was I got it at the same time as I got the internet back when there was no internet, and it was one of the first games I ever modded. Like, the first thing I did was I got still to this day, this blows my mind that you could put in any combination of letters or words and you get a random level.
Yeah. The number 7 on its own was a perfect piece of cake.
Yes.
I loved that one.
And there was like,
it was great.
I would go on the internet and I'd print out, or I'd write them down, levels of like, this one's got a long bridge, this one's just got 2 horizontal towers or something. And I was like, this is awesome. But then I started downloading sound packs, which you could replace the sound packs with the worms, and I got Friends, I got Simpsons, I got a rude one where they would say like very, very British swear words like wanker and things like that.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
Yeah.
They say that anyway.
Neil, can we do this?
That was in the PC.
Yeah.
What, him saying wanker?
Yeah,
It was a Scottish-
that's the typical Worms voiceover that I think.
But
of
does
when
he
I think of
say
Worms.
wanker?
Yes.
Oh
Stop saying
damn, maybe I
wanker.
thought. Yeah, I've got
You
a bleep.
wanker.
I don't know. Do I bleep wanker?
No.
No.
Stop bleeping anything. Free
No,
spirit and all that.
It's like there was one that was tight, which was Yorkshire, which was like chuffing hell.
Yeah.
And there was some Scottish ones.
There's a
I think
Jamaican one
there
as
was
well,
a
for
naughty
some
one.
reason.
There was
Oh, we didn't have that on PlayStation.
what was
God
the-
damn it, Sony!
What was the voiceover we looked at? We didn't even know what it was. Like Tyke.
No, that's what-
T-Y-K-E?
Titans, the Yorkshire
that's the
one.
Yorkshire one.
Oh, okay. We didn't know who that was. We were
This
like,
is one of the first games I bought along with Grand Theft Auto, and I remember that my version, at least, I don't know if all of them had this, you could import images to use as levels.
That was Worms Reinforcement.
Okay, so that included the...
that. Yeah.
Because I remember seeing one of the examples was like a woman in a bikini lying down, so you're
Yes.
playing on her body.
That's right.
Smooth, Anthony. Is that your favourite level?
I'd get to the right part of the body, then drill down.
Hey, that's
of-
best.
Her head. I mean her head, because I was into surgery, brain surgery when I was young.
And necrophilia.
Trepanning.
Yeah.
I
was
reckon
into all that stuff.
the best part of this game was the destructible environments.
Yeah.
It seemed, I don't know if it was the first game to do it, but it was the first game that really impressed me with how absolutely everything could just be completely blown up. And obviously, it's just a 2-dimensional image, so it's not as technically impressive as a lot of stuff is nowadays. But it's so cool that you can like deform the battlefield. You know, you can make decisions on the fly, do it to actually benefit you, not
Well,
just
that's
as
a good time to point out there was a game for QBasic called Gorillas. Not for QBasic, but written in QBasic. And I'm pretty sure you were in a cityscape. And I think all the buildings in that were destructible.
Oh, okay.
Like, same system. So I think
Yeah.
they... Like Team 17 has always done, they copied another person's popular idea. And I guess they just took that destructible terrain idea from someone else.
I remember reading a review about this back in the day, and I remember reading the review, and it was terrible. And I can't remember the magazine, but the reviewer didn't like it because he complained that it was weird that when you destroyed the environment, it would sometimes leave bits floating.
Oh, but that's cool.
And he was like, "Why don't those bits drop? There should be physics."
Oh, yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, "That is a terrible idea. That is rubbish." It really annoyed me. I was like, "Why would you?"
That would be
do that?
really hard to implement as
Yeah,
well.
the only thing I remember is like when you leave a pixel of landscape and the bazooka, you fire a bazooka
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and it just hits that single pixel.
Oh, that was so
But that can also
irritating.
work in your favour if there's a single pixel left that you're able to still stand on and you don't drop to your death.
Yeah.
That was the only. That was there were. That's the thing about this game that I think is sometimes, if I was to give it some bad things, there were times it was very fidgety. It was easy to make mistakes for some reason. Even when I knew the controls and been playing it for years, I could still occasionally accidentally fire a bazooka straight in my face.
Or fall off an edge
Damn.
by accident because
It
you
was-
missed jump.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot
Or
of
just
failure.
trip
Yeah.
a mine that you're not quite touching.
The mines
Yeah.
in this game, they made them green in later games, but in this game they were grey.
And you could hardly
impossible
see them.
to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends
That's why
on
it was
the.
so good.
It depends on the environment, obviously, but they've got grey levels where grey mines are
What
invisible.
did you think? What did you think of like the spread of weapons? Because I always did find that I leaned a little bit away. There were certain weapons I barely ever used.
Like what?
I remember the shotgun.
I love the shotgun.
I love
sorry.
the shotgun.
It does a lot of
It was the-
damage.
the
If you're
Uzi.
close range, you can't use the
Yeah.
bazooka.
I
You'll
meant to
die.
say, I meant to
And
say
you could
Uzi,
shoot
sorry.
it, and then you could shoot it, and then hop, and
Yeah.
then shoot again. So that was really useful.
And I remember
What was that action, Lizanne?
Shut up.
you could,
They can't see me. It's radio.
Okay.
and then the fireball and the fire punch I thought was interesting because one
Yeah.
obviously
Oh,
was a
they
bit
were good.
more distance, but I think I would always just use the uppercut. Again.
That one was
That was
risky
Dragon
though.
Punch.
That was risky because you could be just off and completely miss them with your
Yeah.
Oh, that was
I
embarrassing.
did that a few times. You just
Embarrassing,
wave your tail in their face, and it does nothing.
I think the worst instance of the controls kind of working against me actually was, or maybe not the controls, but the lack of clarity was jumping. You
Yeah.
could always try and jump up a hill, but sometimes
Yeah.
you like roll backwards or bounce off it or whatever, and you just won't do anything, and that's your turn done. Like,
Yeah.
right time.
If you fail a jump.
You usually try to jump 5 times if it's a upward slope, just because you've got to get the distance right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think one of the problems with... I like the few weapons they had in this game because one of the problems, I think, design-wise with later games is they just threw everything in and didn't really consider if they should combine those or make them less weapons and they're all more
Yeah.
useful. They just basically chucked all the ideas in. And it's like in a lot of multiplayer first-person shooters, they don't consider how a weapon is used, and then it just doesn't get used by anyone.
Yeah.
Like Counter-Strike Go or the Counter-Strike games have loads of weapons that no one ever uses because they're not really competitive. And in this game, obviously, it's less about competitivity, competition. Competitivity. It's got 70s, and so some of the, like, I wouldn't use the shotgun very often. It was only for very specific situations. So maybe they could have rethought the weapons for later, titles a bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess the balance is. I remember in later games, the weapons got. Even though I loved all the kind of British humour references, like the Holy Hand Grenade, which is great fun. It was from Life of Brian. Not Life of Brian, Holy Grail. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the weapon was just ridiculous. It was like, and then there was the granny, which would just walk along the map.
Oh, those were later ones, weren't they?
Yeah. They started adding in lots of weapons, like Super Sheep was another one that came in.
Super Sheep as well.
Oh yeah, Super Sheep could fly, couldn't it?
Yeah, you could fly around.
I think that's when I fell out of love with it because
That's when I went.
It lost its simplicity.
Yeah.
It just lost its pureness when they tried to like polish the living hell out of it.
Making it simple enough for anyone to grasp it is definitely good for a
What did you all
multiplayer.
think? And I forgot about it when we came back to watch it. So I got this on Good Old Game today. The FMVs of like the
Brilliant.
terrible. And I remember
Sublime.
even back in the day when I was
Full motion video.
The
the
3D animations.
all around.
Oh God, yes.
Between the levels.
Okay. Yeah.
And I-
they were awful.
I remember saying to the guys, but even back when I was like 8 years old playing this on my PC, I remember thinking they looked rubbish. I mean, I
Yeah.
enjoyed them, but they did look rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, I remember
They
there was
were
one
poor.
there's a horrible one where I think there's a guy, he does the kamikaze,
Yeah.
and the guys, I can't remember what happens, they're all shaking or something.
It's kind of like
on a
bowling
bridge.
pins down a bowling alley, isn't it?
That's
No,
what I said
yeah,
earlier.
that's it.
Yeah.
The videos you get at the end of when you get a strike or not,
But the
it
thing
shows
is-
you.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre that I'd love to find out why they did those, because the game's not loading then. I don't think it's doing anything. They
They
have
were just
a video.
saying, "Look, full 3D FMVs, guys."
I imagine they hired someone who could do it, and he just got bored and made like loads of videos one day.
I remember having them on the PC and thinking they were quite cool because they had CD audio.
Yeah.
That was the boss.
Oh, nice.
Boss. But I don't know if they made it to the N64 and the PlayStation versions and stuff like that. I have to look up. I'm guessing they do.
They were on the
probably did.
PlayStation one because that's the one I had and still have. That's the one at home and I living with right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always preferred the PC versions because of the controls. I liked having the mouse.
It was easy on a PlayStation actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you just use the D-pad to move the cursor around.
Yeah, I prefer the
And you
console
just
ones
use
actually
X
as well.
to select. Yeah, it was a lot. It was quite
fair
easy.
enough.
I really I enjoy the main theme soundtrack for this one.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's a good song.
It's probably my favourite. It might be my favourite video game music. I've
good
even
one.
got it on my Spotify playlist, and I listen to it every so often.
I feel like that's not the first game you've said that might be my
Yeah.
favourite video game music
Okay.
about.
Pretty sure
Every
he
other
said it about Rayman.
Every other time I've been lying. This one is the This is the one.
I'm sure he said that before as well.
Every
We're
time he
caught
says
in
that.
an infinite loop.
He says that every time.
Yeah.
And, what do you think of like the British humour in the
Oh,
games?
I want to
made
talk
it.
about this. I want to talk about this, right? Because people, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, it's typical British humour. People give Peter Molyneux a lot of credit for that, right? In the Fable games, you can do loads of crass stuff, they're like, you
Yeah.
fart at people and stuff, and they're like, oh, such typical British humour. No, that's bull. British humour is some of the most sardonic and intelligent and surreal out there.
He's on a rant.
But I just feel it's weird, especially in games. I think it's a lot of American people that do this, but they often take that sort of humour because it's made by British devs to be a good example of what British humour is, but it's not. It's crass and it's unintelligent. And I think that a lot of the stuff in this game, sure, it's got its charm, it's got a specific aesthetics going for, so like the worms that swear and stuff and those accents, yeah. That is funny, but that is not British humour.
I don't know. I disagree. Look at Monty
It's-
Python.
It's an aspect of British humour.
Yeah, slapstick and outrageousness and silliness is very fundamentally British
But
humour.
the thing,
So it's fundamentally European and African and American as well, though. That's a universal type of humour. That's not British. There's nothing British
I
about
don't
it.
know.
No.
I
The
disagree.
way we execute slapstick is very, very British. We tend to do it in a witty, intelligent manner, which comes from someone erupting out of being constrained, like Basil Fawlty. He's constrained for a whole episode, and he gets more and more frustrated. Then he explodes into this big slapstick debacle. Whereas American slapstick, they're like that the whole way through. Like, think of The Nutty Professor, for example. That is just non-stop slapstick humour. And that's not intelligent slapstick. What we do is intelligent slapstick.
But I think the best British humour is not slapstick at all.
But that's subjective, that's your
but you're
opinion.
not, you don't want to play Worms and they start cracking out these long British jokes going
Freudian.
on. Yeah, it's like just rolling
I don't know.
out these,
You
like-
must know what I mean though. Like a lot
It's got
of people.
a really nice,
I know what
quaint
you mean.
sense of humour.
I know what you mean, but I just like that Worms was very in your face about it. I like the fact that it was like things like get 'em bulksy and things like that, and it was all very. Don't forget, if they didn't have that, this could be quite a violent game. If these weren't Worms and they were 4 little army dudes on a battlefield, It'd be quite grim, you know.
And they were shouting real things at each other, like
behind
rather
and-
than funny things.
It's
yeah.
dark, but when
My
you
wife
have...
and kids are gonna miss me when I'm dead. No.
Whereas a worm shouting that is still funny.
Well, just the idea of a worm killing itself, going at 0, I might as well kill myself now. Poof! Bye! And they even go like, bye!
Yeah.
I'll get you! And all that sort of stuff. It's like, oh. And I think they kind of had to do that, otherwise it would be quite dark.
The silly high-pitched voices
Yeah.
kept the humour as well,
Yeah,
kept it
yeah.
soft. Because
Yeah.
they sound like the chipmunks, which is why we found them amusing.
I love that they must have had a meeting and sat around and went, right, what do worms sound like in our heads? And they must have to sit there and go, what do we think they would sound like? And someone just went, hello!
I'm a worm!
And it does sound like, it reminds me of, I think is it the Labyrinth, where there's a character where she's like, it's a little caterpillar or something.
Oh, the little
and she
bookworm.
goes, he
The
goes,
worm in the wall thing.
Yeah.
You love him, Neil.
He goes, hello. And he goes, could you just say hello? And I'm picking up your phone.
Oh.
He goes, hello. And he goes, no, I said hello, but that's close enough. That reminded me of the
Come here,
little
meet me,
Labyrinth
miss.
thing.
Have a cup of tea.
Yeah. Anyone else got anything you want to share about worms?
Laura, what did you think?
It seems like we've all really liked it.
Yeah, I played. I had Worms Armageddon, I think, on the N64. That's the only Worms I had growing up.
Lucky soul.
So I've always really liked Worms, but I find it difficult to. I had to have Anthony and Jack help me. Well, more Anthony, actually, in terms of
I know that.
directing the bazookas and things.
Jack is less helpful.
Yeah.
Well, you get a sense of how these things work.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I didn't. Unfortunately, I gave my copy of Worms to my boyfriend at the time when I was a kid.
Oh, classic mistake.
It was a massive mistake, and I've got it on the PlayStation now, so it might.
He might be sitting listening, going, stroking his copy of N64.
Stroking his what?
Stroking his copy of N64 worms, going, yeah.
Or crying, going, why?
He's just got it enshrined on his bedroom wall. One day I'll have her back.
Yeah.
One day she'll want you back.
Well, I knew it was the worms.
So I really like Worms. It's a great game.
I agree. I think that's probably... Oh, I've got a little bit of trivia. It's
Trivia!
Yeah, trivia. I went trivia. Trivia. Who wants to play Guess How Many Worms games there have been?
12.
17.
13.
Who's going? Wait, come on, let's do this proper. What number are we going for?
17.
12.
13.
8.
9.
Anti's closest has been 23.
Oh, that's loads!
23 Worms games. Well, you got... I mean, including
Over
things like...
how long?
Well, since 1994 when this game was released.
Wow, so that's 30 years. 20 years. I don't teach maths, it's fine.
But yeah, 23 Worms games. And I'm not even talking about like different platforms. It's literally 23 individual
Like a
titles.
bajillion
Does include
years.
things like reinforcements and
Yeah,
United.
United, Golf.
Golf?
There was Worms.
World Party, Armageddon, Worms 2.
A lot of them were just repackagings of the
Yes,
previous
there was a
games,
lot
so-
that were just like
Right.
boxed.
Worms
versions.
Football Manager. that was a good point.
Worms
actually, for the
fishing.
series.
Worms
But don't forget there
Pokemon.
was Worms 3D, Worms 4, Worms Fort Siege,
Worms 4D.
Worms... You joke, but I'm kind of
Smell-o-vision
thinking that
it
could
has.
almost be true.
No, it has Smell-o-vision.
Earthworm Jim.
The original... So, yeah, what Laura was saying earlier... Originally, it's called Total Wormage, and it was written by a guy called Andy Davison, who presented it for a programming competition, and he didn't win, but he happened to bump into a couple of guys from Team 17 who saw it and went, wow, that's really cool, so they hired him. And
Team 17's most popular game of all time wasn't even their game.
Oh no, some other guy called Andy... But he came on to the team of Team 17.
Right,
What the hell were
What
they
did they
doing
do?
before this?
Yeah.
I think they did World Rally Fever was a game they did
Before Worms?
this. Team 17, what did they do before? I can quickly find out if you want me to, but
No,
a
don't
team.
find out. It's
Anyway,
not going to be worth it.
the version we're looking at the moment on the screen is Worms Director's Cut, which is what Andy Davison wrote during the development of Worms 2. In his eyes, it says the pinnacle of the series. Only 5,000 copies were ever sold.
Who was the guy's name? Andy something or other?
Andy Davison.
Yeah, his Wikipedia says he was described as a bit mad.
Oh, right.
I quite
Makes
like
sense.
that. I quite
Yeah.
like that a tortured soul wrote this. To
mad-
explain some of the little like the idiosyncrasies.
Mad artist type.
And the only
virtual,
other thing I had I kind of touched on was in 2007, IGN including Worms in the series in a list of games that have jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
definitely.
bit
The
of-
series
a bit
jumped
of a
quite a
shame.
while ago, yeah.
And let's go into the retrograde part of the show. And Azan, you think of what you want to do because I'm going to quickly look up
I've got
what
it.
games Team
Axe.
17 have done.
I know what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to do weapons.
Axe.
I'm not going to do worms.
Axe.
Different types of worm.
Types
I'm
of
gonna
worms.
I'm gonna do a
Snakes.
war movie
Axe.
that you feel represents this game. I will go first if you want some thinking time.
So I just want to very quickly say that the
Okay.
products Team 17 have done Alien Breed, obviously I forgot about, Flockers, Super Frog, Worms. We did Super Frog, don't forget that.
What did they do before Worms, though?
I'm just Alien Breed, I guess, would be one of their first ones. Games like Alien Breed, Assassin, Project X, Body Blows for the Atari ST and Amiga games. They did mostly ports for it. Full Contact was a game in '91. So yeah, they had a few games, you know. Worms outsold FIFA 96 and Tomb Raider that year.
Wow.
Really impressive.
Why
When
did you say
released on
Tomb
the
Raider like
PlayStation,
that?
Yeah, it was a weird way to say Tomb
It
Raider.
outsold
I was
Tomb
waiting
Raider
for him to say.
that year.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to say something else after Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider 3?
Okay, so we are grading this according to war movies.
I've got one.
Do you want to go on, James?
I'm gonna give it. Oh no, because the person who thinks I'll gets to go first. Sorry, I forgot they were doing it.
Okay, I'm giving this a Tropic Thunder.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah.
Laura, you have to realise that we like to do this. We don't just grade it 1 to 10. We pick a thing.
And
then
you have to
grade
come
it
up with a
by that
metaphor
thing.
as to why it is that thing.
Yeah.
But isn't Tropic Thunder a terrible film? I've never seen it, but isn't it?
Tropic Thunder was
amazing!
Tropic Thunder was pretty
I've never
good.
seen it.
Right,
I've never seen it.
Sort it out, Laura.
Robert Downey Jr.
The next line.
Robert
No, I
Downey Jr.
haven't
spends the
given my
entire film in
reasons.
blackface.
It's a terrible
Right.
film,
It is-
but carry
It's
on.
very
It's
classic.
awesome.
It's a terrible film.
Anyway, Tropic Thunder. I'll give it a Tropic Thunder because it is kind of taking the mick. It's taking the mick out of the war movie process, and Worms is taking the mick out of war to some extent because it uses little worms instead of people. So it is based around reality, but it has a good sense of humour to go with it.
I'll go
which
next.
It's very charming.
I'll go next.
Yeah, I give it a Tropic Thunder.
I'll go next. My
one is
my Starship Troopers, which is technically a war film.
Yeah, I'll allow.
Cult classic, loved by few, but very, very devotedly. And it's a bit weird.
it's got breasts in it.
Yeah.
I like it because of the breasts in it.
And the alien brain suction.
Oh yeah, I don't like that so
I like the
much.
propaganda, communist style
Yeah.
of the, the Would you like to know more?
And it's got that dude in it I like, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also in Worms, I believe.
Carry
It's
on.
got credits. My favourite
Who
part.
plays the
who's
collapsing
next?
brain?
Anthony's next.
Oh.
Anthony's next. I'm going to go A Bridge Too Far, which I assume
thought
is.
you would.
I think that's the war film, right? Because 3 bridges is enough. Team 17.
I don't get that.
They've gone a bridge too far. Team 17 have gone a bridge too
Right.
far.
What, with this game?
No, just with Worms in general.
Oh, with Worms in
No, this
general.
was the first bridge, then Worms 2 was the second bridge. Worms Armageddon was the
you
third
did,
bridge.
You did say 3 bridges was enough.
Yeah.
I got confused why you
What's
said
wrong,
3
with,
bridges.
what's wrong with 3 bridges? That's where I was born.
Yeah.
It's enough, Neil.
This happens every time. We come up with like slightly random nonsense. Anthony actually thinks of a legitimate metaphor.
Yeah.
He actually goes for something completely cogent every time.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
You honestly, listen to the episodes. It's uncanny.
Okay, I'll
no.
believe
You got
you.
one, Jack?
I was going to let Neil go next.
Yeah, because I put my hand up.
Oh,
like a
sorry,
good
darling.
boy.
For all
I
of
don't
you.
see
I'm going to go with the Tarantino masterpiece, Inglourious Bastards.
Ah, good
Nice.
Because it is both funny and violent. That's all I need to say.
Laura?
I don't have anything. I've
Come
just
on.
been sitting here watching everyone else speak.
I'm not going to say...
War movie.
I'm not going to say the film, because I'm surprised that so far we haven't said Platoon, Apocalypse Now, Full Metal Jacket... Like,
Full Metal
loads of
Jacket did actually
They're all
suck,
too
though,
serious
so-
to be Worms.
So, Laura, you haven't got a war film yet?
No, I
What's your favourite war film?
I don't have a favourite war film.
What was
I've
your
hardly
favourite
seen it.
war?
World War One.
World
Okay,
War One.
that
That's
was the
good.
classic.
All quiet.
Yeah.
All quiet.
The classy one.
Okay, all
The classy one.
No, that's a good point. It was definitely the classiest
was.
war we've
They
been
still had
involved
horses.
in.
We've got no one left to disprove your point anymore. They're all dead now.
That was crap.
Are you going to rate it?
Too soon, Jack.
I can rate it on a war book because I read my
What
books.
about
Do a war
for
book
it.
then.
on
Do
the
a war
Western
book.
Front? That's a war movie.
Birdsong, but that's Birdsong's nice. I don't know. Move on.
You're comparing it to Birdsong?
No.
I love that.
Is Birdsong a book?
Sebastian Faulks?
Yeah, it was a
Oh.
novel, then it was a play, then it was a TV
But
thing.
it's-
Oh, cool.
It's not anything relating to.
It doesn't have to be, honestly.
It doesn't have to
Neither
be.
is Starship
They're all
Troopers.
very-
Laura.
it's all
Rate
very
it Saving
tenuous.
Private Ryan.
We
I
had
think of a
we
reason.
had one episode where we rated it based on clouds.
Yeah, the cloud one
Like
was funny.
clouds.
None of us know
Things shaped
clouds.
like-
Another
Clouds.
episode where we did it based on noises.
Wow.
That was a fun one. I mean, the listeners
Seriously,
enjoyed that
listen
one.
to the show, Laura. It's good.
Wasn't one an item of clothing?
Yeah.
Probably.
One was if this game came out of a spaceship as an alien.
was a good one.
What alien would it be?
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And James said Morgan Freeman. Wait, didn't you?
No, that was Jack.
No,
Oh.
you said Minecraft Man or something like
No,
that.
that was
you say-
Anthony.
didn't you
I
say-
said it would be a flaccid penis covered in flags with my face on them.
Yeah, he did.
Which makes much
Do you know
more
what? That is
sense.
pretty much bang on.
So, no war film, Laura?
No. No.
Birdsong.
Why do
Birdsong
I
was good.
remember that?
I,
It was your proudest moment.
yeah. My one is going to be Hot Shots Part 2.
Nice.
It is
Nice.
a war film. He goes to war, and it's really silly and it's really fun, and I can really watch it all the time. And I love Hot Shots Part 2. It's one of those films, if it comes on TV, I end up watching it all the time. It has some of my favourite jokes that's ever been in a film. One in particular I love is, for some reason, there's a plane and they're about to jump out and they're waiting for the green light. And I still, to this day, so that they're about to jump out, as the green light comes on, it goes green, 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 like that. I don't even know why that makes me laugh. But now, if I ever see, which doesn't come up that often, but if I see a green flashing light, I have to go green, 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 green. I don't know why, but I still. And anyway, but yeah, it reminds me a lot of Worms. I love that film, and I absolutely love Worms. I think it's a fantastic game.
It is a brilliant game.
And it's very funny and it's very enjoyable. But undertone of violence as well, which is what I look for in everything in life.
Okay.
And yeah, awesome. Woo! That was Worms episode. Thanks for listening. You find all information and all links regarding this podcast, as well as all our other sister podcasts, at psychon.net. That's CSICON.net. So make sure to check it out. Just a reminder again, the Retrograde podcast is hosted on the Psychon Network. So head over to psychon.tv, where you can become a patron for our show if you want. Sponsor us a little bit of money and we'll make more episodes.
Jack, I don't think you've mentioned Psychon.
CSICON.net or .tv. .net to listen to shows.tv if you want to sponsor us.
.com if you don't fancy getting anywhere.
We're not
in particular.
sponsored, become a patron and like support the show and say that we like what you're doing. And yeah, there's always iTunes reviews. Write down a review for us on iTunes, you get a free badge. I think I've mentioned that for about 5 episodes.
We haven't. That's weird.
Yeah, and that's why I've not been getting that many badges recently. I need to
I
get
thought I
badges
made that
now.
up in my mind. I forgot we did badges.
Yeah, I've still got badges, got loads of them.
Now, are those round badges or
Square badges.
Square badges, you say?
Yeah, it's like-
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
I've got loads of them. They're bursting out of every drawer in my room. But they're not really, they're limited edition. I've got like 4 left, I think. But anyway, yes, so that's goodbye from me, Jack Marshall. Goodbye from Anthony.
Wait, what's the next game?
Oh, yeah, crap. What is the next game?
Jesus.
Oh,
God, Jack!
I don't know. I've not written it down, but I'm
The
pretty
next
sure
game is
it
Planescape Torment. Yeah,
Torment.
I chose that one.
'Cause
Lots of
James-
story, involved RPG. You guys are gonna love it.
Yes.
Finally.
I'm so glad there isn't a reason we don't do RPGs very often.
Oh, God.
I'm so glad this is one of many RPGs around the show, and they're going to be great. It's going to be 1 in a million.
I'm gonna change my game to Super Mario Bros. 3, actually.
Are you actually?
Don't, because
No.
Oh,
I don't.
No.
I was excited then.
Planescape Torment.
It was one of the
Sounds like a-
Obsidian games before they were Obsidian. Was it Black Isle?
Sounds like an
Studios?
emo band.
One of the most celebrated RPGs of all time.
Okay, cool.
Should be good.
Should be fun. I've never played it. I'm looking forward
It's
to
a
it.
game so obtuse you can win with like a full intelligence character, whatever. It's all about talking to people. You can win by talking to people.
I'm going to have to start playing this straight away, aren't I? 2 weeks.
Thank God I'm on summer holidays.
Listen to the
Blimey.
next episode, listeners. I'm so excited about
Well,
it.
you're going to be so enjoyable.
The people listening who've played that game know what treat you guys are in for, though. So
Well, you might not want to listen because I'm probably going to slag it off.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Little
Jack's gonna slag it
little
off.
sneak preview for next episode. I don't like it. There you go. Anyway, that's goodbye from me, Jack Marshall. Goodbye from Anthony Hobday.
Goodbye.
Goodbye from Zan Fisher.
Bye!
Goodbye from Neil Skinner.
Bye.
Goodbye from Laura Gill.
Goodbye.
And a goodbye from James McFadden.
bye.